tryout, so I want to make sure I can share screen and make sure I have the actual things that I want to share up. Okay, so welcome everybody to our 7 p.m. call, and it is, let's see, March 21st, and so it's the third week. And on tonight's call, we're going to talk about origins, and it's going to be the origins of sleep. So last week, Anna Marie gave us a really nice call on sleep, and we talked about some oils that can help with that. We talked a little bit about the sleep cycle. And so this week, we're going to talk about origins. And what I mean by that is kind of like the origins behind the essential oils that help with sleep. So we're going to talk a little bit about the growing behind a couple of oils. I won't talk about too many because there are tons of oils that can help with sleep tonight. But we'll talk about 2 of them, and I'll get to those in a minute. But by way of introduction, I want to talk about what really one of the huge things that sets doTERRA apart. And again, before I get into this, feel free to jump in, chime in. That's what's wonderful about Zoom, is that we can all talk and we can see each other. So it's very interactive, which is really nice. And yeah, so if you have any questions or anything, go ahead, hop in, and we can address that. But going into what really sets doTERRA apart, and that's in part kind of what inspired this call. So on third weeks, we want to talk about origins of oils, where they're grown and everything. But to talk about doTERRA for a moment, so most of you should hopefully be aware by now. For those of you who are going to watch the recording or on right now, I think we're all pretty aware. But what's really nice about doTERRA is where they source their oils from. And I thought that this would, actually be worth talking about for just a few moments before we talk about the oils, because this really is one of the big things that distinguishes doTERRA from other essential oils that are in the market right now. And there is a really neat website that doTERRA has recently launched. They recently launched it after the last conference. And I don't know if everybody's seen it, but if not, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so that we can all check it out, because I think this is a really fabulous website. Okay. Let me just share that, and then please let me know. All right, do you all see that Source to You website? Awesome. Okay. I think it's a really pretty website, number one. I mean, I just think it's really neat how, it's all interactive and everything. But it's just talking about everything to do with growing, where your oils come from. It talks about the process. It talks about, the growers themselves, where everything is coming from. And so someone who is just starting out with essential oils, I think this is a really useful website to check out and spend some time on, just because, you should know where your oils are coming from. If you got involved with doTERRA, you probably heard a lot of hype about, oh, doTERRA is the best. Oh, this is the most awesome oil, which, of course, it is. But, you should probably look into why it's the most awesome, right? So come to this website. It's called sourcetoyou.com, and you can go through the different parts. And, we won't spend too much time on this, but I did just kind of want to run through it real quick. So here's our awesome front page, and we can begin our journey. We can start going down through here. But we talk about the different growers, the distillers, the scientists, the practitioners, and then, of course, you. Because you are the wellness advocate or the wholesale account customer, whatever, but you're the one who's using the oils. So you're important as well. But let's start with the growers in doTERRA. So doTERRA, like it says here, they responsibly partner with different farmers, artisans, people who really know the growing process for these different plants. Oftentimes, a lot of essential oil companies, they like to cut corners when it comes to the growing process. And so, growing, a plant might be harvested before it's actually ready to be harvested. Before it's actually had time to fully grow and develop and to mature into, the actual place where we want it to be at, so we can get the best chemistry for the essential oil. And so that's what's really cool about doTERRA here, is that they're actually going to partner with people who really understand the growing process for for all these plants that we're trying to source our essential oils from. And so what this means then is that we get people who really know these plants, who really have experience in growing them. And also, too, what that means is that because we're partnering with local farmers, that also means that the essential oils are coming from native soil, which is one of the big differences with doTERRA, is that these essential oils come from those native lands. And that makes a huge difference in the chemistry. You get a more full chemical profile with each plant. And then, of course, combined with harvesting, and good distillation methods, you get a very top quality oil there, which just leads to all kinds of benefits for us. And so it really benefits us that doTERRA is taking all this time to really make sure that they have a top quality product. All right. And so with the growers, of course, comes the distillers. And, you know, so doTERRA, again, they're going to be partnering with these local experts, you know, who know how to distill. And oftentimes, I believe the distilleries are right there next to where the plants are being harvested. If I'm wrong, you know, please someone jump in and tell me. But I do believe, you know, in several cases that the distillery is right there. Because in most cases, as soon as the plant is harvested, you know, in order to preserve the purity and the potency of the plant's essential oils and to make sure that they are absolutely complete, they need to be rushed right to the distilling process so that we don't lose anything there. So they're going to be put into the distillery, and that's where we're going to start to, you know, start the essential oil processing and getting it to where the form that we actually see it in, which is, you know, the liquid form in the little bottles that we can see. So it's pretty cool. But again, it's going to be run by people who really know the distillation process, who are very familiar with it, very comfortable. They know how to do it, when the right time is, and they know what to look for, and so on and so forth. All right. So now continuing forward. So the next part of the process, of course, is going to involve scientists. And doTERRA has some really top quality experts that are working on these essential oils, which again is a benefit to all of us. Because what these scientists are doing is they're making sure that these essential oils are tested. They're tested for purification, for potency, to make sure that there aren't any impurities in the essential oils. And actually, just as a side note, I think there's a little bit of background noise. I'm not sure who it's coming from. I'm not sure, maybe it's for me, hopefully not. But whoever it is, if you wouldn't mind maybe muting yourself for a moment just so that we can...
how do you do that?
Let's see, I believe if you go to...
No.
Jen, are you familiar with how to do that?
If you hover over your picture and a little microphone pops up,
yeah,
or a mute button pops up.
Yeah, there we go.
Thank you. Got it.
All right. Sorry about that. Yeah, I just want to minimize some noise right now. Thank you. And then we'll open it up for questions and things, and you can come right back. But anyway, so going back to the scientist portion, what's really neat about doTERRA's scientists is that they really have set the standard in the essential oil industry for testing essential oils and for really making sure that we have a very top quality product here, making sure that it's very pure, that there are no artificial fillers, nothing like that, and also that it's very potent. And so it's pretty neat what we have with our essential oils. And of course, coming over here into practitioners, we've got a really neat medical advisory board with doTERRA. Hopefully some of you have been able to meet Dr. Hill. He is the chief medical officer in doTERRA. He's a really neat guy. I was actually able to meet him in one of the first post-convention tours when I first got started. And that was actually a really powerful experience for me to meet him and to get to interact with him. So hopefully some of you get to do that too. And of course, you know, it wouldn't be complete if we didn't talk about you for a moment, but of course you as the as the user of essential oils, you know, all of this becomes very important for you to know, you know, what's going into your essential oils, what are you actually using here. And so this is a really neat website. You know, I encourage all of you to run through it, check it out whenever you can. As you can see, there's a lot of different information here, and it just runs you through the process. So I highly recommend checking it out. As you can see here, we've got over 100 essential oils that are sourced from more than 40 nations. And that's pretty neat. I mean, that's a pretty huge effort when you think about it. doTERRA really does have connections all over the world. And, you know, with just how committed they are to having such top quality oils, I mean, that's just pretty neat for us, that's what we get to use. And so keep that in mind as you are using your essential oils and as you're sharing that with other folks, because this really does set aside doTERRA essential oils from others. Again, like I said, oftentimes other essential oils companies do like to cut corners, you know, from harvesting, you know, obviously in the farming process, and then also they may even grow it on their own plot of land, which also reduces the chemical profile of the plant. So not altogether useful. So again, just a lot of good things to keep in mind. And are there any questions before I move on to actually talking about the oils? Anything? Any comments or any concerns, anything? Okay, cool. All right.
I have one thing I just wanted to say. I love this sourcing where plants thrive most. I took a lot longer saying that to someone today.
Yeah.
could have just used those words, but I really like that.
Yeah.
Where plants thrive most.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah, and I think that's really neat. doTERRA has put out a really neat website here that we can all refer to, and it's true, and I think, it's like you said, I think I've had a lot of troubles explaining that to folks too. I'm like, well, I mean, they grow the plants where, they're native to and stuff, but it's like, yeah, that's a nice way of putting it, just sourcing where the plants thrive most, and that's absolutely true. So thanks, appreciate that. Okay, anything else before we move on? Nope. Okay, cool. All right, well, without further ado, let's get to sleep in here. I'm going to, all right, stop share for a moment. Let's bring up, oh, hey, I see you on here, Sharon and Shauna. Hello, welcome. Didn't see you before.
You just said, let's get to sleep in here.
I know, we're like, yeah, let's talk about sleep. Okay, yeah, I guess it's like, what, 7-Eleven, so. Okay.
No, I'm laughing because I heard, let's get to sleep.
Let's get to sleep. Oh, wait, no, don't go to sleep. I'm sorry, that's terrible. All right, cool. All right, so tonight I wanted to highlight 2 essential oils that are useful for sleep. And of course, as with pretty much all the other oils, they are useful for more than just sleep. And the first one that we're going to talk about is vetiver. So let me bring up our really neato infographic for vetiver, and I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you all again. As soon as I bring that up. Okay. So vetiver. Now, so for those of you who have used the new Serenity blend, they came out with the new blend, obviously, after convention last year. And so the new blend of Serenity has vetiver in it, which I think is an awesome addition to the blend, because I love vetiver. That's an awesome time. Oftentimes that's what I use for sleep, is just straight up vetiver rather than Serenity. So vetiver, as most of you know, is sourced from Haiti. And there are a lot of cool things about this oil. I really love vetiver. It smells so good. And I actually put some on. And so actually, if you guys have some of these, if you guys have vetiver, go ahead and pull it out, open it up and take a smell. And you can go ahead and rub it on yourself. But so vetiver, like I said, it comes from Haiti. And it's pretty neat, the effort that has been happening in Haiti because of it. So of course, like I was explaining with a bunch of the growers in the process of essential oils, oftentimes essential oils, they are usually not farmed to the complete process. Like, they're not allowed to grow until they're completely mature and everything, and they get harvested early, oftentimes because the farmers need the money faster. So a lot of the times it's a money problem. So a lot of farmers, oftentimes, they will harvest their plants at, before they've, reached this mature age. And it's usually because they need money faster. And, there's just a lot of, problems going on with like third-party brokers and things like that. And so what's nice about doTERRA coming in is they give those farmers a steady salary. So then they can, be paid throughout the year rather than just when harvest happens. And so then it encourages them to continue growing really good, high-quality plants and allow them the proper amount of growing time so they can mature properly. And so that's the case here in Haiti, where, you had that, poor quality, that poor process, in the farming process happening. And so it's really nice now. We can get really high quality vetiver by consistently paying them. And that's what doTERRA does. So it's pretty neat. And vetiver is harvested from the roots. And there are some pretty interesting facts, actually, that I wanted to bring up about vetiver. And so I need to look this up really quick. Let's see. Whatever. But there's actually a really neat article, and I believe it's in the science blog in doTERRA, and it's all about vetiver and the growing process and just kind of talking about it as a plant. And, hopefully, maybe one of you are going to be familiar with the term. But so, for example, in Haiti, there's been a lot of problems with heavy metals in the soil over there. And what's interesting is that vetiver actually thrives in that kind of soil. And so there's a couple things with that. Now, at first you might think, wait, so if vetiver really thrives in heavy metal soil, that probably means that it's contaminated, right? Wrong. It's not. And again, this is, I need to find this term, I totally forgot to write it down. But if you look on this, in the blog articles in doTERRA, just go onto doTERRA's site and search vetiver. There's a really neat article that talks about it and what this property is. But what's going on is that vetiver, it thrives in the heavy metal soil, but what it actually does is it ends up cleaning the soil at the same time. And it actually helps to filter out the heavy metals from the soil, which I think is really cool. But what's also neat then is that in turn, rather than becoming contaminated with heavy metals, vetiver actually ends up retaining its strong DNA. It doesn't actually get altered by the heavy metals, and it totally retains its integrity as a plant. And so it doesn't get altered by it, but it does help to clean the soil, but it stays just fine. And so with our vetiver oil, rather than getting like some weird heavy metals inside of our vetiver oil, we end up getting just a really good whole plant that's also helping to clean the soil around it. Pretty neat, right? I don't know.
That's awesome. Megan, I do have the science blog up if you want me to screen share so you can see it.
Awesome. Yes, I would actually love that.
I haven't read it, but if you want to stop screen sharing.
Yeah, let me stop. Okay, there you go. Yeah, if you wouldn't mind putting that up, I would love to see that because I just thought that was such a neat, little article.
Where in the article do you want me to be?
Okay, so, okay, go up if you don't mind.
Not at all.
So, and there might have even been 2 articles about vetiver.
This is the science blog.
Okay. Wait, go down, go down. Let's see. Maybe it was somewhere else. I must be wrong. Okay, maybe it's not in the science blog. Maybe it was in the other one. I apologize. Okay.
Oh, no problem. It's interesting because I didn't even know that this was here. So I'm excited to go through and read all of this. I've never taken vetiver internally, and that was interesting. Have you?
No, actually, I have not. And I think I actually just read that a moment ago and I think it said to take vetiver along with lemon. So a drop of vetiver with a drop of lemon, you can do it in a veggie capsule, or you can just do it, right on the tongue because both are very safe and not super strong. But you could take a drop of each of those to help with immunity. And so I did not know that because I've never taken it internally. So pretty interesting stuff.
I haven't either, I love vetiver. It's, one of my most recommended oils for sleep. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I don't see the little term that I was looking for, but actually I'm glad you brought this up because this is really neat too. And actually, just as a side note too, for anybody who is ever looking for more information, you just feel like maybe you're not finding enough of it in our Facebook group, which it's kind of hard to believe because we're always posting stuff, but we're on the calls or whatever. But yeah, feel free to come to doTERRA.com because there is just a plethora of information and we're always finding new stuff on here. It's pretty neat. And actually, there was just another note on here that I think is pretty neat is that because of the root system of vetiver, it goes straight down, and it also and says right here that it makes it ideal for helping to prevent erosion and provide soil stabilization. So that's another cool thing about vetiver, so it's number one, cleaning out the heavy metals. It's also, giving, soil stabilization and of course an amazing essential oil for us. So
that's awesome. Well, I will stop sharing then.
All right, cool. Now that works just fine. All right. Well, here, I'll bring up, we'll look at vetiver some more real quick. But yeah, so I just want to look at the key benefits real quick. So looking at that, so as it says here, after day of standing, apply it to the feet as part of a soothing massage. But I'm just going to go ahead and say, yeah, like that's what I usually do at the end of every day too for sleep is I like to just put a drop or 2 on the bottoms of my feet. I usually start doing that about half an hour to an hour before bedtime, just so that I can start to wind down for the day and start, getting really sleepy. But yeah. So that is some good, quick information on vetiver. But yeah, wanted to focus on it. Oh, hey, that's where I read the thing about 2 drops of vetiver with lemon in a capsule. So some pretty neat things. But yeah, so that's some information on vetiver, about the plant, where it comes from. And hopefully that just gave you all a little bit more context as to this awesome oil that you're using. And of course, go ahead, you can feel free to diffuse it, rub it all over yourself. That's what I love to do. And now we know you can take it internally too. So, okay. All right, I'm going to stop sharing there. And real quick, I want to move in our last few minutes on this call. I want to move to one that I know you're going to love, Jen. I know you love this oil very much. So I think you're going to enjoy this one. So Hawaiian Sandalwood. I know, I saw that.
I love sandalwood.
I love sandalwood too. And actually, I put some on myself before this call to help me get into the zone. I was like, I got to connect with my oils before I actually do it. So yeah. All right, let me bring up screen share. Let's get to it. Okay. So I love Hawaiian Sandalwood. And honestly, I don't know if you ladies have tried the other sandalwood. So there's 2 different sandalwoods that doTERRA has. There's one that is sourced from India, which is just regular Indian sandalwood. And then there is, of course, Hawaiian Sandalwood, which I'm going to focus on that because I love Hawaiian Sandalwood. I'm from Hawaii, and I just think anything Hawaiian's really cool. And, you know, and I would love your comments, Jen, because I know this is probably one of your top oils that you just adore. And yeah, like, yeah, anyway. So Hawaiian Sandalwood, obviously, is sourced from Hawaii, and this is pretty neat. So Hawaii, of course, you know, we're like, oh, it's an island, like, you know, it's tiny, like, we don't want to be chopping down all the trees, you know what? But what's cool about this is it's actually sourced in a really sustainable way. And it's from the heart of the sandalwood tree, and it's distilled through steam distillation. And of course, it comes from the wood, you know, it's from a tree, so it's going to come from the wood. And it has kind of a sweet smell to it. And it's just, I don't know, it's a really just amazing smell. It smells really good. And it can be used for a lot of different things, not just sleep. But of course, you know, we're kind of talking about in the context of sleep tonight. But I believe one of the key ingredients in Hawaiian sandalwood is, I think it was called santalol. I just remember it reminded me of Christmas when I thought of it. But it is called santalol is what is the key ingredient there. And so that is a property that really promotes relaxation, which, of course, at the end of the day, when you want to get ready for bedtime, that's going to be perfect. And for sandalwood, I put it on my feet, I put it on my face, for skincare, all kinds of things. Do you want to actually share for a couple moments, Jen, about what you use sandalwood for?
Sure, I love sandalwood. I use it more for overall grounding, you know, which in a class that I taught today on sleep, we talked about the benefits of that, just being grounded to help for sleep. But I love sandalwood for skincare. I absolutely love to just put a drop. It started when I was giving my father a blend that was primarily frankincense and Hawaiian sandalwood for healthy skin cells. And I was out in the sun a lot, and I started to have a couple of spots on my face that I was a little concerned about. So I was using a lot of that mixture. And
yeah,
honestly, I diluted it, but I love to just take a drop undiluted. And it has a very satisfying, sticky consistency. And I'm usually not someone who likes the thicker oils, but I love that because I put some here because that's where I have some, you know, skin issues. I'll put a little under my nose just so I can smell it all the time. It's in my diffuser necklace right now.
Oh, nice.
Sandalwood is my arborvitae.
Yes.
Sandalwood is just it's my jam when it comes to
it's your tree oils. Everyone's got to have a tree oil, right? You know, it's very grounding. It's solid. It just keeps you there. So yeah, that's cool.
It is. It to me, it's warm and peaceful. Mm-hmm. You know, it's the grounding scent. But I use it primarily, besides the emotional aspect, and for grounding for skin issues.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's actually probably what I primarily use it for too, aside from, like, you know, calming and sleep time and stuff. Yeah, usually what I do is I combine it with like some helichrysum or frankincense or something and just like slather it all over my face. And it's true, I do love the consistency actually of Hawaiian sandalwood and vetiver too, actually. So the two oils that we talked about tonight are actually very similar in that regard. They're both a lot thicker, they're kind of syrupy almost. But what's interesting though is, unlike fixed oils like, say, coconut oil or like vegetable oil and stuff, these actually do still absorb pretty quickly. Yeah. And so, you know, you just rub them in and they actually absorb pretty fast. That's the nice thing about essential oils, is that, yeah, they get absorbed really fast. So, yeah, but they do have that kind of syrupy quality. And I don't know, I feel like they spread really well. I really like them. Yeah. So thank you. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah. I would put sandalwood all over me and just wear it like a perfume.
Yeah, actually, yeah, it's perfect for that. Yeah. All right, cool. Thank you. Yep. And as it says here, you know, well, okay, so I guess if any of you have a big photo shoot, as it says here, you can apply it to your skin the day before a big photo shoot.
Oh, yeah, that big photo shoot I have coming up. I'm going to use some sandalwood.
It's like, oh, I got to be ready for my fans. Okay, use some sandalwood here. You know, I guess probably for the skin benefits and also because it'll help you calm down and really be in your groove. Mm-hmm. So keep that in mind when you got a big photo shoot coming up. And yeah, and then add to shampoo to improve the look of your hair. I honestly have not tried that. Has anybody else tried that, Jen? Have you done that one yet?
I haven't. But hey, you give me another way to use sandalwood and I'll do it.
Yeah, it's not a bad thing.
People will be like, oh, what's that smell? It's my hair.
My hair, isn't it amazing? Yeah. All right, so that's a bit about sandalwood. And yeah, so are there any other questions? We've got about 5 minutes left before we're going to take a break. And so are there any questions or comments on Hawaiian sandalwood, vetiver, the growing process, anything?
Have you ever taken sandalwood internally?
I was just looking at that.
Yeah, me too.
I haven't, but I was just reading it going, oh.
Yeah, it's kind of neat, actually. I haven't done that.
Just wondering.
I know. Kind of some interesting thoughts, yeah, because like I didn't know that about vetiver, and I didn't know that about sandalwood
Me neither.
I've only used those things really in my diffuser or topically, so it's kind of neat to, gosh, I mean, we're learning new things still, see, so we're all together.
The possibilities are just endless.
They really are, and that's what's neat about them. But yeah. All right, so I guess to finish up our call tonight, thank you. Well, not to really finish up, because I mean, hopefully you all will stay on for the business portion starting at 7:30. But yeah, so I mean, those are just some thoughts that we wanted to share tonight on the sourcing of the oils, on the origins, and to keep in mind just why doTERRA oils really are so amazing, what really sets them apart. So check out source2u.com. That's some fabulous information on the process, just so that you can speak to that better. I found that as I'm trying to explain to people, well, okay, why are these essential oils so great? I definitely need to have some good information there, and perhaps you all are the same, or maybe you're just curious. I know that I always am too. And
I do want to say that on the co-impact sourcing, I
Mhm.
don't know how much you spoke on this, just because and I know we have to end, but I was
no, it's fine.
around
Go ahead,
the
please.
science blog, but just the fact that it's also such a partnership,
Mhm.
and really benefiting, making a difference in other parts of the world. I love that aspect of the company. It makes me feel like I'm making a difference, and it's such a win-win, making a difference, and then we're getting the quality oil.
Yeah. Well, and that's so true, actually. I feel like that's a really big theme in doTERRA, and so I'm glad that you bring that up, because really that's how it is, from the growing process all the way up until us, the wellness advocates and, or wholesale, whatever you are. But there's just such a partnership throughout all of it in doTERRA. We partner right now, we're talking about the oils, we're sharing with each other information, and, we share our experiences, we share the oils, physically. And so there's just, I really feel like that's one of the best parts of doTERRA, is just that real, wonderful feeling of partnership and connection, and really sharing with each other. And actually, I guess I also want to mention real fast too about the Healing Hands Foundation, which I feel like goes right along with that. That's another wonderful effort that doTERRA does. It's called the Healing Hands Foundation. And perhaps all of you folks have noticed in your LRP orders or anywhere, you can check a box to donate $1 to the Healing Hands Foundation. I highly recommend that you do that. Just because 100% of that is being used towards really wonderful projects. Like, for example, in Nepal, when the earthquake happened, doTERRA was right in there, helping to rebuild, helping to provide good medical care, using essential oils, all kinds of good things. And so it's just a really wonderful foundation. It's a really wonderful effort that doTERRA has done to further give back to the world. And that's that's really the theme here, is giving back. Doing our very best, to provide just really top quality things for everybody. So, yeah.
And Megan, real quick.
Oh, sure. Yes.
Yeah, I'm back. The disaster relief hygiene kit we were talking about, that's something that's just coming out, and they're going to be $25, also 25 PV. I really love that idea. So when you order them, there are also, you won't get them directly to you. They're going to be provided by doTERRA. So I love that idea.
Okay. Oh, neat. Okay, so now the disaster relief kit, what's in it, actually? Like, I'm curious. I don't think I've heard anything about this.
No, I said it on leadership. It came out during leadership.
Oh,
so
okay, good. I was like, am I supposed to know about this? Okay, yeah.
It's very new. No, so there is there's shampoo, there's conditioners, deep blue, there's band-aids, there's toothpaste, there's some soap. There's some really basic things, and to get in a backpack that is supposed to go as a disaster relief kit. So we'll have more of it out, but you can actually, you only can buy them at 4 at a time. So you can 4 or 100 with 100 PV, or there's 20 for 500 or 500 PV. And again, they don't go directly to you. You purchase them, and then the doTERRA uses them in disaster relief option. But it's a way to donate as well. So I think it's an awesome extra way to donate. So yeah.
Cool. And do you know when those will be coming out? When can we expect to see that?
A lot of this comes out in April, so I assume this is also in April. Because a lot of the new stuff is coming out in April. So I would think April.
Okay. Very cool. Awesome. Thanks. All right. Well, I see that it is 7:30, so perhaps I think we're all good. Why don't we just go ahead and transition into the business portion of our call tonight? Is everyone good with that?
I'm going to stop the recording for a second, and then I'll restart the recording. So give me a second to do that.
Okay. All right, I guess we can give you a moment.